Hi there and welcome back to History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita, and today we're going to go into part 2 of Trouble in Shangri-La, where we're just going to concentrate solely on the album Trouble in Shangri-La plus its singles. I had done a video prior about the little intro stuff that was the one CD was the remainder of 99, some 2000, 2001 stuff just going into Trouble in Shangri-La. And there's a very small pile of Trouble in Shangri-La, but still I just want to make these videos a little bit shorter. I just keep feeling bad, like some of them are a bit too long, and that gives me too much of an ability to go off on little tangents. So I'm trying to keep them a little bit more concise and make more video content for people. I still have the equivalent of what, if I were still making 30 plus minute videos, 1, 2, 3, 5 more possible videos at a minimum. But some of those might be split up because Say You Will actually has a lot more CD singles than, say, for example, Trouble in Shangri-La. But 24 Karat Gold is some of the other Fleetwood Mac releases. Pardon me, they don't have as many CD singles or stuff. So we'll see. But let's get right into Trouble in Shangri-La. So, 2001, we saw Trouble in Shangri-La, and what a huge comeback for Stevie. And I don't think it's a comeback at all. She calls it a comeback. She calls it just a really monumental time for her. But we were on the heels of 9/11, and Stevie Nicks has mentioned herself that she feels that with that, in the background and such, that she didn't give Trouble in Shangri-La as much attention as she wanted, and that promoting it and such didn't give it as much attention. I don't necessarily feel that way. I feel that we still had Tower Records, we still had Barnes & Noble, we had another bookstore, Borders, and I mentioned Borders because Borders actually threw a lot of attention to both Trouble in Shangri-La and Say You Will in like promo stuff, maybe specifically only for their store, but also it just seems like maybe that's just because that's where I found a lot of stuff. But yeah, Trouble in Shangri-La was just start to finish a really good album. Different, more grown up Stevie Nicks, but definitely a throwback a little bit more to Belladonna, as far as a little tinge of country, but still a rock and roll album. I mean, I think that Too Far from Texas, that made me stronger. Even Bombay Sapphires a little bit had that kind of woman. Stop Dragging My Heart Around, or Leather and Lace, kind of that feel. But then you had the rockers like Sorcerer, you had Planets of the Universe, and then of course you had, gosh, what was it? That made me stronger. What was it? Anyway, you had stuff that was the rock and ballads, the new Edge of 17s for Stevie Nicks. And then in concert, it was just even better. So just overall, I'll call it a comeback for her, but I don't think that's necessary. And 2001 would have been, let's see, 81, 91, 2001, 20 years since Belladonna. So, yeah, so just maybe for her, maybe it felt like that. Just like, kind of from 77 to 97 for the dance, the big resurgence for Fleetwood Mac. Maybe Stevie Nicks just felt it was her time, or fans of Stevie Nicks felt that her, 20-year anniversary and album release was just really Stevie Nicks back at the forefront. So just my ideas and opinions. We'll start with the really cool sampler. This was a cardboard sleeve USA promotional only advanced sampler. Now in 2001 there had been an individual who will come up by name, probably because it's one name I don't mind sharing, to not protect the innocent, because they are far from it. This individual had CD singles that they were selling, which had like 4 or 5 songs from Trouble in Shangri-La in advance, and they were selling the CDs on eBay for like 30 or 40 bucks. Now, I don't condone that. The album was going to come out, but I was salivating. I could not wait for for material to come out, so I purchased that. And I hate myself for it. Somewhere around here, it's around somewhere. It's just a burned CD. But it had like 4 or 5 songs, and maybe not completely in full. I want to say they might have gotten it from these advanced samplers, or there could be a proper 3 to 4 song sampler. And in the back of my mind, it feels like that might be the case. But in this instance, it again is straight up the full album. It's just the advanced copy of the album. And it says right here, Trouble in Shangri-La, promo only, not for sale, and right here, album advance. Cardboard sleeve. The CD looks exactly the same as the release, but it came in a paper sleeve inside the cardboard sleeve, so it's just a really nice have for collectors. Getting into it just so I can show you for comparison, this is currently the only copy of the regular CD that I have, though it too is a promotional one. It has the hype sticker. Nowhere on the CD, though, I believe. Let's double check that I'm right. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. But you see a small difference, because then we have, on the regular CD, we have the Sarah McLachlan drawn Dragon S for Stevie's logo on here. But yeah, just the like if I were to list this on Discogs, I would not list this CD as a promo CD, because it's only says promo on the packet. But nice to have the hype sticker, nice to have still another promo. The completist that I am probably does or would want to get a regular copy with nothing, just like you used to buy them, with the cellophane and nothing on the packet. So I had a completely proper regular purchased release. But yeah, so small difference. We pretty much know what the packaging looks like. The inside. It would take quite a few years, up until, gosh, what was it, 2022 or 23, before this finally saw a vinyl release, which was, when I get to that eventually, a wonderful thing. This sounds great as it is, but boy, does it have a rich texture on vinyl. So yeah, so that would be the regular copy of Trouble in Shangri-La. Had a couple issued singles as promotional items. The first one being, the first single off the album would be Every Day, with the great video directed by Dean Carr, which we'll get into a lot of Dean's work. Super nice guy, great photographer, super nice guy, I'll say it again. Shout out to him. But again, we'll get into a lot more of his stuff when I get into his photography in my scrapbooks someday way in the future, because I'm very grateful that I have a lot of his work, and I have a lot of his some of the layouts of how he wanted the video, and in talking to Stevie, what she wanted, what he wanted, what they put together and such. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so the video for Every Day, this was a promo single, Every Day, nothing on the inside, standard CD. Promotional item, not for sale, I think, right there. And it doesn't say, but I believe, oh, it does say just the regular version. It doesn't say regular version, but it is the 3-minute and 34-second version of the album. Back insert. Stuff on the side. Then we had a UK single. This one was from, it says Europe. This one was really cool also, because I've seen one without this sticker. But on the back, it does have the sticker talking about it. And this is the front, just like the US release, but the thinner jewel case. Nothing on the inside. I mean, it folds out, but there's nothing more on the inside, just this. And then the CD as well says promotional down here somewhere. Yeah, that's the UK CD single of that. Then next up for the single, we have Sorcerer. And again, we got another USA promotional release, promotional single with this great photo. This one has 3 copies of the song. It's a single edit at 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Sheryl Crow edit at 4 minutes and 24 seconds. And the album version at 4 minutes and 55 seconds. So 3 versions of it. Not much of a difference. But definitely if you are collecting for the music or you're just collecting as a fan, of course you'd want to have it. But if you're collecting for the music aspect of it and you want all 3 versions for your collection, you want to get that. Nothing on the inside there. This CD is very reminiscent, in my opinion, of the Practical Magic Sorcerer CD. I'm not Sorcerer, is that right? No. If you ever did believe, my apologies. Why did I say that? What was I thinking? What did I say in the last video too? I made a mistake. I think I said something about, maybe it was the last video or the one beforehand. I made a mistake about Sharon Ceylani singing on a band besides Shivery. And I said it was like Fall Out Boy. It's Badly Drawn Boy. Not that you're keeping track, just something that came to mind. You know, I'd gone to sleep or taken a nap or something. I'm like, that's who I meant to say. But it's going to be in here somewhere, but it's just one of those things that just came to mind. Sorry about that. Squirrel. So yeah, so that was the US version of Sorcerer. Next up, the next single we have is Planets the Universe. Now, we have 2 different... First, we'll have the promotional version, which came out. This one has edit 4 minutes and 21 seconds, album version 4 minutes and 46 seconds. And this is a US promotional only. Nothing on the inside. I like to call it the little olive martini looking like disc. Just looks like an olive to me. This is the back, again stating not for sale, promotional only. But then this took off like a, out of nowhere on the dance floor, dance singles, as evidenced here. There's several more examples of this when I get to my vinyl eventually. This just really hit the dance charts, something else. And these remixes were phenomenal. Some, a bit much for me, but really brought Stevie Nicks to a whole different audience. And I'm completely behind that. So after the US promo release with just the 2 edits, we got a released copy, a normal one like you go to Tower and buy, and this has 6 mixes of Planets of the Universe, and a lot of like this vinyl here. This is a 1 disc with I think 4 mixes. But then there's another one that looks just like it that's like 2 discs with all 6 mixes. 2 discs with all 6 mixes. Say that fast. And then there's one that looks just like this. Again, when I get to that, eventually you'll see all of that. But so yeah, this was the US release. Very similar CD. I don't think this folds out. Nope. Yes, it does. Okay. Not much, but just the lyrics, but still pretty nice. And then to wrap up this video, just a weird little oddball out. I buy that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be showing off my collection if I didn't have all that, but this was a really cool find, which was a Behind the Music compilation. And when Stevie Nicks had done a Behind the Music, she had sung Planets of the Universe. And they had included that on the CD. And this was something you could get from Target, I guess, or sponsored by Target. I believe it was something you could purchase. I don't think, nothing about it being promotional. I find these at, used record stores, so sometimes I don't always know. Not much, no pictures or anything like that, but just information. So yeah, that would be it for Trouble in Shangri-La. So not as much, but a shorter video. And when we come back, we will be getting into Say You Will, which I will try to make that concise as well. But there's quite a bit for Say You Will. And I hope you enjoyed everything from Trouble in Shangri-La. Let me know if you have something different. I think there might be a UK thin jewel issue of Sorcerer. Something else out there. Let me know if you have anything more. Thank you again for joining me. I always appreciate you watching my videos, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.